So is the next step directing a Star Wars feature?
From your mouth to God's ear. I'd say, why not? Why not?
On his way to becoming one of the greatest fictional athletes of all time, Carl Weathers actually was, well, an athlete. We all know Weathers, a former professional football player for the Raiders for many great roles over the years, portraying Apollo Creed in the Rocky franchise, is a fan favorite. He's back for season 2 of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, and not only is he acting, he's directing an episode as well. We chat.
You actually made the transition from football to acting while you were still playing football. How did that dream to enter Hollywood space start for you?
There's something about that applause that kind of gets into you. It's like hooks that get into you, and people laughing at the proper times with the so-called jokes, and really seeming to appreciate your performance, right, as a child. And then I went to movies. I was one of those kids incessantly in movies, going to watch movies. And it just grew. And finally I got into what's called middle school now. And, girls didn't care about guys in tights doing Shakespeare. They cared about guys in tight pants on the football field. So maybe I was acting my way through football to get to having my name in lights, and lo and behold, it all seemed to work out, Kelley.
Well, one role that you convinced us was very real, of course, is one of the greatest athletes of all time. That is fictional, and I'm obviously talking about Apollo Creed. He's iconic, so much so that Ryan Coogler reignited a franchise, built it around his legacy. What did that mean for you?
To take that seed that was planted all those years ago, and you take the seed from that and you create another tree, if you will, and you get this really delicious thing called Creed. How can you not be both flattered on one hand and challenged? Because I don't think we ever really saw all that Creed was. Apollo Creed was. So, on one hand, yes, Ryan, great job. Yes, Michael B., great job. On the other hand, I got something in there that none of you have seen yet. Let's get to that, So it's fantastic. Really, at the end of the day, it's all fantastic.
What made you say yes to The Mandalorian, where you are not playing an athlete, at least not as of yet in this series?
Yes. Well, in my mind's eye, I'm being very athletic, but you don't see it.
There you go.
What made me want to be a part of it was Jon Favreau, came up to me in a meeting one day. We're both with the Directors Guild of America, and said he had this project he was doing. And, John has just been magnificent time after time again with whatever he's done. So I had a meeting with him. I saw the artwork of this show called The Mandalorian. He explained it to me and said he really wanted me in it. And Disney, Lucasfilm, what am I going to say? No? No, I'm not going to say no.
It's illegal.
I said, yes, please, Yeah. And we discussed it. And the more we discussed, quite honestly, the more I was really excited about it and enamored with the role and the possibilities in it. And once I got into it, John expanded on the role. And so there Grief Karga was roaming through the outer universe with all these interesting folk. And it morphed into a second season in which, I'm also directing.
There are so many more eyeballs, on the series now. It did so well with Emmy nominations, racking them up. And I know the expectation is for that to continue. So tell me a little bit about what you brought to the series as a director.
So my approach to it really was very much like any other show I would direct, and that is really trying to know the script really, really well before I started anything. So there's multiple readings of the script, and of course working with John on certain things I didn't understand or didn't feel were really clear, whatever. And then working with the actors, and getting as much from them and with them as possible while I was still in front of the screen as well,
Yeah,
in front of the camera as well, on screen. But again, Giancarlo as Moff Gideon is such a wonderful actor and personality that you don't really have to give this guy a lot. And the baby, come on, I get to work with the baby, and I wanted more of the baby, the child, because people love the child.
Yes.
And then Pedro does his thing, as the Mandalorian. So my approach really was to try to stay within the confines of what we know of the Star Wars universe, and at the same time bring some Carl Weathers swag to it.
Absolutely. So is the next step directing a Star Wars feature?
From your mouth to God's ear. I'd say, why not? Why not? Lucasfilm, Disney, bring me along as a director. Come on. What are you waiting for?
Make it happen, Disney. Make it happen, Lucasfilms.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking time out to chat with me today. I do appreciate it.